bring in Congressman Steny Hoyer of Maryland, who serves as the House Democratic Whip. Steny, good to have you with us tonight. Appreciate your time.
Always good to be with you, Ed.
Congressman, where are we going to be 5 years from now? We've just talked about where we've been the last 5 years. What are the next 5 years going to look like?
Well, you know, the president came to Congress and gave a State of the Union and said, look, I'm optimistic. We've come a far pace, as you've just outlined very well. But we need to go further. We need to do some things to grow this economy, to make sure it works for everybody, to make sure that Americans can make it in America. And we want to see us work together to accomplish that objective. But the president said, look, if you're not going to act, I'll act. And just the other day, he did act so that people contracting with the federal government pay a decent wage to the workers that are working for those contractors. We need, and we just announced that we're going to be going back to Congress a week from now, and we're going to put a discharge petition in and get the minimum wage on the calendar. We hope our Republican colleagues will join us so that we give the incentive for people to work, and when they work, they won't be living in poverty. We want to see comprehensive immigration reform passed, as you pointed out. That's good for the economy. It's the moral thing to do. One more thing, we also continue to urge our Republican colleagues to reestablish the safety net for those who are unemployed through no fault of their own, can't find a job because 3 people are looking for every job that's available. We need to do that as soon as we get back.
So, Congressman, you're making my point. You're off. You're going and making plans for what the Democrats want to do. They have come back and said, well, we just don't trust the president. I mean, okay, let's talk about this minimum wage discharge petition. Federal workers, it was signed yesterday, they're going to get $10.10 an hour minimum wage. What is the discharge petition going to do to minimum wage in the House?
The discharge petition wants to take a minimum wage bill that has been introduced off on the floor, put it up for a vote so that we can raise the minimum wage over a couple of years to $10.10 an hour.
And will that happen?
As I'm sure you know, it will happen if we get some 20 to 25 Republicans to sign that bill. Yes, it will happen. Now, whether we can get those signatures or not, because as you've pointed out so well, there's very little action on the other side of the aisle. And they rationalize their failure to act by they don't like the president, they don't trust the president, this, that, and the other. But the fact of the matter is their party is a deeply divided party that cannot come up with a consensus for action. They're the party of no. They're the party of repeal. They're the party that doesn't have the ear of the American public, frankly, because 70% of the American public believes the agenda we put forth is something that's good for America, good for growing the economy, and good for them and their families.
Well, Republican Congressman Tim Huelskamp recently said after the debt ceiling, he says, that's what our leadership said. If we get past this one, we're done until the election. Meaning nothing is going to happen. Nothing's going to happen this year. Your response to that?
Ed, I can't believe that there's any American who believes in the middle of February we ought to fold our hands and say, well, we're done for the year. That's absurd. We still have a lot of people who are not participating in our economy. We still need to invest in growing the jobs in America. We still need to make sure that we address a system that is broken by the admission of every Republican leader I know and do comprehensive immigration reform. There's still a lot of work to be done, and I can't believe that Huelskamp is right, that the Republicans are going to project to the American people, well, we're doing our job, and we're going to rest for the rest of the year.
All right, finally, Congressman, I want your response to Priorities Action USA saying that they're going to sit out the midterms. They're focusing on 2016. In other words, all hands won't be on deck for the midterms. Your response to that?
Let me tell you, sitting out this coming election is not an option. If people want to see this country move forward, grow our economy, have a working relationship between the President and the Congress of the United States, the American People's Board of Directors, they cannot afford to sit out this 2014 election. We cannot afford to continue to have the crises that we've had fiscally, which have held the economy down. Sitting on the sidelines should not be an option for any American.
So you want Priorities Action USA to get involved and raise money for this midterm?
Absolutely. We want them engaged. We want all the voters engaged, whether they agree with us or disagree with us. Democracy works best when all of us participate.
All right. Congressman Steny Hoyer, great to have you with us tonight. I appreciate your time. Thanks so much. Remember to answer